thought it was really interesting. Right after the panel, someone approached me and was so ecstatic that the Kingsbridge victory happened, and he called it a people's power victory and talked about how it's such an important community win that hasn't taken place in the city in ages. And I think another thing he highlighted was that what was really important, which he reminded me, was that the community was engaged and knew that the project was happening, that oftentimes people are not informed about what's happening around them. We don't know about the economic development that's going on. It's not done in a really democratic way. So I think it's just really key to organize people, and that there be community organizations and unions on the ground that are really doing grassroots organizing and really involving normal people in politics and in decision making. And that's what was key in Kingsbridge, was that ordinary citizens, ordinary church folk, ordinary workers got involved and became part of the decision-making process and really took ownership of the campaign. And I think that's what will make this a key campaign. I think that's what makes the campaign also bigger than just winning the legislation. If we mobilize and organize people, then it goes beyond just winning one legislation, but we're trying to grow a movement that can actually fight for the rights of all low-wage workers, that can fight to unionize workers, that we can fight to raise the minimum wage overall in New York State eventually. It's key that there be working people who have worked in these jobs that the city wants to pass off as quality jobs, to actually say from their own experience, no, this was not a good job, this is how I had trouble making ends meet. And we know from people who are single adults trying to support themselves that it's hard enough trying to make it on $8.50 an hour, and we know from people who are raising families that it's nearly impossible to make it on a job that's paying close to minimum wage. So I think it's about putting people who have the actual firsthand experience in the forefront in leadership positions to actually say, we have worked these jobs, we work in these malls, we know what this experience is like, and we can't make ends meet. And I really admire the leadership of people in the Bronx. Many of our members were unemployed and could have looked to the Armory as a job. I mean, they did look to the Armory as a job, but they could have done what Bloomberg was hoping they would do, and just say, well, we just have to, we'll act on our desperation. Any job is a good job. And people didn't say that. There's a woman who was a leader on the campaign who lost her job in the financial sector, and she's been unemployed for, I think, almost 2 years. And the only jobs that she's finding are minimum wage jobs at the Bronx Zoo, in service, other service jobs, home health aid type work, and she won't take those jobs. She has a mortgage to pay off. She talks about how she won't be able to keep up her home. She talks about how the whole neighborhood, the quality of life declines when people are just barely surviving on these minimum wage jobs. So I think it's real people's experiences refute the arguments that the billionaires make. And hopefully in the fall, we're going to have a large rally or public meeting, which will give the city council members who support our legislation a chance to get up in front of the various communities all over the city and talk about why they support this legislation. But we're hoping to do some really fun things, maybe some actions at malls, maybe some fun protests, creative things, singing, street theater, all the things that make this job fun.